Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We are coming to you live here from the GAMA convention in Reno, Nevada, bringing you all the cool board game coverage from throughout the week, some insider news, some background information, and some hot takes coming to you today. But first off, let's get some introductions out of the way. As usual, I'm your host, Matt, and I am here with Jared from CMON. How you doing today, Jared?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
First up, how's the con treating you so far?
It's doing good. GAMA is an interesting show since it's a kind of a retailer-focused event, but it's always still very busy because there's tons of meetings. And the fun meetings are meetings with you guys, right, where we get to actually show off the games and have a little bit of fun.
Not actually do negotiations and stuff like that.
Get rid of all that business stuff and get down to the games.
So I think this is the first time that we had CMON on the stream, so thank you for coming on and representing them.
You're welcome. We keep having those misconnections but this time it worked out perfectly, so I was happy to be able to be on here.
I mean, I figure we're at enough conventions together that eventually it's going to have to happen.
Yes, exactly.
And plus, we were sharing purple for all of those.
We were,
too.
Yeah.
Not today, though.
I was getting a little more formal for you, and I didn't want to confuse the audience to think there was like a new guy here and like, who is this guy? But
so CMON always has new things going up to Kickstarter, new things coming to production, and everyone in the industry is always really excited. Our fans are really excited whenever you guys have a new launch. And you've got some new games to show off for us today.
Yes.
So we got something set up on the table here that's a little bit different looking than a lot of the stuff that I've seen from you guys recently, and I'm excited to show it off. So let me switch over to the board cam here with a little bit of magic. Boo!
Wow,
look at that.
That is magic. Love it.
So what is on the table here today?
All right. So what you're looking at is Dragon Castle. This is from Horrible Games. They showed it off at Essen, and then when we saw it, we immediately had to have it to help bring it over to the U.S. Same designers as Potion Explosion, so with a pedigree like that, they brought amazing design game with incredible table presence. It is it's inspired by Solitaire Mahjong, but it's competitive.
Okay.
The idea is, the story of this is the Dragon Castle, the ancient Dragon Castle. It has fallen into disrepair, and we all have these province cards that I'll bring into frame here.
There we go.
So each player will have these different cards that has a grid that you can see here. So you and me will have these where we're trying to, from the remains of the Dragon Castle, which is these Mahjong tiles, we are building onto our province. To attract the Elder Dragon to his new home.
Okay, so we're building him a new pad.
We are, exactly.
Very good.
I mean, because he had a nice one here. What's interesting, so this is a basic setup that I have right here for a 4-player game. There's not 4 of us. I don't want to confuse everyone.
I don't think there's 4
No, there's not 4 of us. There are tons of different ways you can set this up. Out of the box, it comes with 4 boards that 3 of them are your basic 2, 3, and 4 player, and then there's one that is just an open grid where you can do what you want.
Oh, very cool.
You basically, the key is that you have to use all the tiles and you build up to a level 3 at different points. And in the back of the rule book, there's tons of different configurations. So what you see here isn't the only one, which is part of the table presence. It's constantly changing, and that's really cool. Just to look at. But when you actually get into the gameplay, it maintains that coolness factor because it is a very strategic game, but also it's very family friendly, which is kind of what Potion Explosion was. Where it's like it's easy to get it, and then you can kind of add the strategy. So our goal is, on our turns, we are taking one of, I'll say 3 actions. There's a 4th action that occurs later, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
But you're taking one of 3 actions, and there's a helpful
quick reference.
Yes, helpful little quick reference card here, and
so that's this bad boy
yes, you've
right
got that
here.
magic thing. Yes, so the top one there, it shows 2 tiles moving. So what that means is I can actually, you can choose, so when you draw a tile, it always has to be from the top level. So in this case, we're on level 3 right now. And if I would have set this up a smart way, I would have had a move ready for myself. But let's just imagine, so actually I do. I meant to do this. Okay. So if I choose the first option, I get to draw 2 tiles. They must be matching tiles, with the first one being from the top. So there's this one here. It's a legal tile. Legal tiles are anything that has an open side, not a top though. It has to be an open side.
Okay, so the side has to be exposed.
Yes. So I would draw this this one here, and then there happens to be this one on the second level. So I can take this one. So
only the first one that you're drawing has to be from the top level.
Yes, the first one always has to be from the uppermost level. And then in that first action, it has to be a matching one that you draw.
Gotcha.
So from there, I'd have these 2 tiles, and I could go to my province, and I set them anywhere on this grid. And you set them face up to start with. They eventually will flip over.
Is there a rhyme or reason to how you're setting up this grid?
So there will be. The ultimate goal is, so if I set these down right here, nothing's going to happen. As soon as 4 of these are touching on their sides, not diagonally, they will automatically flip over.
Okay.
Once a set of 4 tiles flip over, you will score points. On the back of that cheat card is a more cheating little reference card there. You can see on the right side is a row of numbers with the red numbers next to it. So that 4 next to the 2, that means if I flip 4 tiles, I get 2 victory points.
Okay.
But you'll see that there goes 5, 6, 7, or 8. So in this case, I put this here, but if I'll just kind of fast forward a bit just for a second.
Okay.
If I had this here, like this, and I put this here, so they don't actually flip yet. But if I got another yellow one and put it here, then all 5 would flip.
Because they would all be connecting in a line then on the across the
Right.
flat edges.
Exactly. Even better if you put a 5th one here, and then put a 6th one here, and then finally put a 7th one there. That triggers everything. So there's a lot of cool combos that can come of that. And so the first turn is that double tile. The second ones will be pretty fast because we've kind of gone over what the basics of drawing. So that second option there, you draw a viable tile, so open side, topmost row, and then you take that, and then you also get that 1 tile and this shrine token.
Okay, so this shrine token here, I'll show off a little bit more in the camera.
And we both
there.
should actually start with
So
one.
it looks like the top of a pagoda there.
Exactly. So what will happen is, depending on when you flip these tiles and what tiles get flipped, you will have the option, if you have any in your bank here, you will have the option to place that on top of the flip tiles. So in this case, if I had matched these yellow tiles, I think, yeah, you can see in that corner there. If I want, I can choose to put this shrine here. What that does is a couple of things. One, I get the points from that flip. At the end of the game, you also get points for these the shrines you've built, and you get more points depending on the level. So you'll see on the leftmost side, if it's one height, it's 1 point, 2, 3. So that's fairly simple. Those count for the end of the game. And if you look at the middle of the card, that actually dictates how many shrine tops you can put on there. So I did yellow tile, so I only have the option of putting 1, as it shows there. But if you did the blue or the black tiles, you could choose to put 2.
Okay.
And then if you did the dragon tiles, which are kind of the most special, you get to put 2, and you immediately get a victory point for putting those 2 down.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So the different suits, their faction tiles and special tiles, they will actually have different abilities when they flip. And that's really cool. And the placing the shrine is an option because you may not want to actually put that shrine down right now because
you want to build it up a little taller.
You want to build it higher because as soon as you put that shrine down, nothing else can go there.
And I'm assuming you can't build on top of the tiles unless they've been flipped over?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this case, if I had, these couple of red, once these are flipped over, I could put a red here. I could put a red here. I could then, these are considered touching, even though they're on different levels, but they're next to each other. And then if I put 2 more red here, all 4 of those would flip.
Okay, so because they're all red swords in this case, then they would all be the same category, so they would trigger each other.
Exactly. The actual symbols in this case only matter when it's drawing the 2, making sure they match. When you're looking for the flips, it's just the same color.
Okay, color or family for the case of those that are colorblind.
Yes, exactly. And you cannot build on top of things that aren't flipped.
Right.
That's the basic 3. Well, actually, I didn't go over the third one. The third one on the other side is you get to discard a tile. So you would draw that tile, you put it face down next to your player board. So let's say you really needed this green and I saw that.
Yeah.
I could say, well, I'm going to use my turn to draw that, discard it, taking it out of the game, and I get a victory point.
Oh, so it's like I don't even want to build with this. I just want to throw it away.
Yeah. Or let's say it's here. You really need this 3 to be open so you can match it to a 3 somewhere else, like right here.
Right.
You could take this on your turn, ditch it to open yourself up for later. So you can either kind of do a little bit of take that with your opponent, or help yourself out. Gotcha. And that's the basics. Once you get down to the bottom level, so the first floor of the Dragon Castle, that's when the fourth option comes into play, which is at the very bottom, and it's we have these little dragon tokens at the bottom of the board. What happens is once that first floor is shown, one of your actions becomes just drawing one of these instead of anything. This is just worth 2 victory points. This is the countdown. In this case, it's 4, so they're all filled up. But as soon as it's drawn down to where it shows this exclamation point right here, that triggers the end of the game. So everybody will finish up to the first player, and then you're going to add up victory points.
Fantastic.
So that's the basics. I don't know if you would like to run through a couple turns.
Let's take a shot at a few rounds here.
Cool. So let me, now that I've totally messed this up. And you can't see under here, but the way the board is set up is there's actually numbers under all of these columns that walk you through setting it up. So there's a 3 under these, so you know, well, I'm going to just randomly place 3 tiles here.
And so the board teaches you how to set up the board.
Exactly. And then what is cool, I do like the open board because you can get crazy. Like I'll try to make, almost like pixel art with the tiles by setting them up and like, oh, what kind of crazy face can I make or something like that. So, all right. So I will touch on these cards really quick because I didn't mention them, but we won't be using them. There are spirit cards. To kind of do it, of course, I handed you one with green. I knew I'd do it. The spirit cards are in play, and they affect everyone. So different cards, like here's another one with green, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to keep... That's even better. That's a wing. So what that one is saying is, if you trigger the spirit card, you can actually draw a tile that has the short side facing out.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And then there are dragon cards. These are blue.
Blue should be.
The blue should be okay. Blue's a little bit better. So these dragon cards are also like spirit cards in the sense of it's out in play and everyone can utilize it, but those are in game. So if you match what's on that card, you will get those extra victory points. And there's tons of different ones of these. If you want to make it more complicated, so like in this case, this is a pretty straightforward one. If you have a shrine in that way next to a 2-stack, you get an extra point. It's just like kind of encouraging you to build certain ways.
To play a little differently.
Exactly.
Standard.
You can add as many as you want. It recommends playing without them for the first few games, adding one to make it more challenging. You keep adding from there. But we won't be expert mode. Yeah, exactly. We won't be using those for this. But so we each start with one shrine top there.
Okay.
And I will put this back over here, and then. If you'd like, I'll let you go first.
Let me go first.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to. Well, I'm going to copy that one move that you did there. So I have to start by taking one off the top level there. So I'm going to steal this one, and then I'm going to take this one off the bottom level.
All right. Sounds good. And then, yeah, so you can put that anywhere on that grid. It is kind of quadrant out, so it'll help you if you need to do a little planning in your head.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't actually matter where you set them.
Okay.
All right. So in my case, I'm going to want to shrine up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take this dragon here and just set it on my board and draw a shrine to add it to the side there for when I need it.
Okay.
And it's back to you.
I am going to... Oh boy, what am I going to do? That is a good question. I am going to do a double draw again. So I'm going to draw this one from the top row and then this one from down here. Those are identical. And then I will put them over here somewhere.
There you go. Let's see. For my case, I'm really liking these dragons, and I'm not seeing an exact match, so I'm going to just draw another one and go ahead and take that.
I'm getting a little nervous with you with all these dragons here.
The dragons are nice because they score that the point at the end, but I can also be handicapping myself if I'm not really diversifying like you are.
Right. So then I am going to go ahead and do the second action there. So I'm going to get one of the shrines, and then I'm going to draw any one of the tiles from the top.
Correct?
Okay. Yep. So I'll take this bad boy over here. So I'll put that right there.
See, now I'm getting nervous because you're actually about to have a match if you go through with it. So I want to play a little catch up. So I'm going to do the first option of drawing this, and then I drew from the top, and I'm going to take a matching one from the top.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just set these guys over here.
So I want to get one of these out of the way, and I don't like the fact that you're going for the greens. I see some opportunities for you, so I'm going to take this one here, and I'm just going to discard it from the game.
That I was eyeing that one. So, and now because you did that, you also get a victory point.
I get a victory point for that. Victory point, one for me.
Now you haven't completely stopped my plan though.
Oh no!
Because I do have this one here.
Ah.
And then this one. But I'm not going to make them touch just yet to kind of push my luck to see if I can...
Well, you know what? I'm going to do the double draw here. So I've got this one here, and then there's this guy down on the second level.
Oh yeah, that one's opened up.
And I think that means I'm going to have some fun stuff here. So I'm going to lay this one here, and then this one right here. So that'll trigger a 5 flip.
Yes, so those immediately flip. So you did 5, so you're going to get 3 victory points off the bat while you flip those. I'll help you out there. And now, because those were the clouds, that actually gives you the option of placing 2 shrines if you want. You could just do 1. But
I'm going to place 2 because
I
feel like it. So I get to do 1 here and 1 there, let's say. Okay, perfect.
And now you can't build on top of those anymore, but at least you're going to be guaranteeing some victory points at the end of the game.
Right. And because we're limited on time here, that's why I did this. I wanted, I wanted to get ahead of you so I can call it quits now and declare myself the winner. That's the key here.
That's not how you treat a guest.
Well, you know... I didn't learn manners. But I want to make sure we talk about the other games that CMON has going on right now.
We can do that. So, but yeah, that's Dragon Castle. It's as simple as that. This is a game... we do a lot of games at CMON, like you said. This is a game that we always come back to for our fun kind of like break time. You know, and that kind of speaks a lot for a game if it's something that we're around a lot, but we keep coming back to it because it's so easy to pick up and it's just a lot of fun. These tiles like have such great weight to them, and
very tactile.
Yes, exactly. So yep, that's Dragon Castle. It's out in May.
Oh, fantastic! You beat me too. I was going to ask, where can we find Dragon Castle?
It's on my first rodeo. But yeah, and it's not a Kickstarter. It's going straight to retail.
Straight to retail.
Yep, straight to retail.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right. So what else is in the pipeline right now for
CMON?
CMON?
All right. So the next one is an expansion I brought to show you. We won't set it up like this, but last year from Eric Lang, we released the where's best to...
Oh, I switch over to the board cam here, and I'll do a little...
There you go. So last year we released Bloodborne, the card game from Eric Lang. This year we are coming out with the expansion, The Hunter's Nightmare. So in this one, Eric and Chris Chung expanded the game. We listened to the fans. A lot of the fans wanted more. And so we said, okay, we can do that. So for $15, this expansion doubles the amount of monsters, doubles the amount of bosses, doubles the amount of final bosses. So the original had 7. This comes with 8 more final bosses.
Nice.
So literally, it is doubling everything from the game. It's adding in new monsters that people wanted, new abilities on those monsters, tons of new weapons. So it's all that stuff. Because there's so much in the Bloodborne video game that this is based on from PlayStation 4 that, you know, we knew we had a lot more we could do after that first game.
There's a very expansive world there that you can build on.
Exactly. So we added all of that, but then he also added some new gameplay that's cool, which is, and I'll give you a couple of these to put under your fancy little green screen over there. We added these rune cards, which there's runes in the original, in the video game that weren't in our original game. These are permanent effects that players will get at the beginning of the game. They'll have 2 to start with, and they get to choose to keep one for the game.
Okay.
And these will have abilities that actually modify the way you play. So I have one here that's after the hunter's attack step. If you dealt the most damage to the monster this round, excluding ties, I collect 2 blood echoes from the reserve. So this is just kind of gives you effect that lasts the whole game and kind of just changes the way you might play because different ones do different things.
Add
so
a little bit of customization.
Exactly.
To the base game.
Yeah. So it just adds a little of excitement. And you know, you choose these after you reveal the final boss during setup. So you may choose one that actually helps you against the final boss down the road, or you may choose one that just kind of gives you a nice effect throughout, or one that maybe, in this case, since you beat me at Dragon Castle, I might choose one that doesn't help you so much during the game. And because the game wasn't...
That's petty. I like it.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's me. Here we go. If I find the right tokens here, and I'm not, so I'll just give you these 2 for now.
Okay.
Is he? Okay. Hey, Chris.
That's hilarious.
Good job. Yeah, so I love this game, and I think this expansion adds so much. The ones you just put over there actually increase the difficulty quite a bit. So in the main game, there were trophy tokens on your hunter board. Every time you killed a monster, if you were part of the dealing the final hit of amount of damage that killed the monster, you got a trophy depending on what type of monster it was. Basic ones have 1, bosses have 2, and then final bosses have all 3 trophies. So to make it a little more difficult, we put these little death tokens in that start on the opposite side of the track. So when a monster kills you, depending on what type of monster they are, it actually goes to the left instead of the right, negating the max capacity of points you can get from that monster. So,
gotcha.
And what's even worse is, say I'm up to 3 and this is down at 4, and then I die again, it will push my 3 down to 2 to make room.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, so it's not kind.
No.
But people wanted it to be more difficult.
I mean, that's definitely a trend that's going. People
Yes.
want to have that hard mode on
Yeah.
games that really pushes them to strive to be better.
Yeah, well, especially with Bloodborne, like the whole point is kind of getting beat up,
Yeah.
right? And at least in this, when you do die and you go back to the Hunter's Dream, and not by choice, but it's because you die, you still get to walk out with an upgrade. So that's nice. It maybe helps you a little bit. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like I said, it's $14. Well, $14.99, so $15. It adds so much and actually adds new gameplay.
Doubling the content.
You're doubling the content of the original game
for $15
and adding new gameplay
That's
with those runes and
pretty
the
darn good.
It's amazing. I'm super excited for this. It was a personal favorite of mine because I love the video game and I love the card game, and I think Chris and Eric did an awesome job with this expansion. So,
Very
and
cool.
that we are shooting for the end of April.
Awesome.
Which we'll do a game night kit for it that will be going to CMON Play member stores. So that's stores in North America, but it's a great way to support your friendly local game store. It comes with an exclusive sculpted miniature, exclusive boss, and those are only available by going to the store and playing there and taking part in their event. So we're really excited to support them with that.
Definitely go support your friendly local game store.
Exactly.
Big shout out to them. And then finally, I know that you've got this little property that you guys have floating around. I think it's called Zombicide, something like that.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I thought
No.
that you did.
Yeah, so we the other week we announced so Zombicide Green Horde is actually coming to stores soon. Backers have started getting their base game, but we just announced Zombicide Invader. So we went from modern times to fantasy, and now we're going to space in the future.
Space
yes, the zombies themselves are actually Xenos, so they're this alien. Well, we're also aliens. So this planet, they're like the humans are aliens to it. Yeah, but so it's going to be awesome. Like, we've been showing off the miniatures online. We've got a rules overview and a designer, but at its core, it's a great game for people who love Zombicide, but it's also a great game for new players. It's going to play it actually has faster setup and faster gameplay without actually sacrificing game turns.
Oh, nice.
And there's a lot of cool ways that those articles will kind of really get into the details. We've also diversified the survivors in the sense of you have civilian survivors and soldier survivors. Civilians have less armor, but are much more resourceful in finding things. Soldiers are much more armored. So you kind of have to work together depending on your survivors. The environment, if you're out you can leave the space station, but you need oxygen and you have to start using laser weapons. So that's really cool. And the biggest thing is we modified how the abomination works. Usually he kind of showed up later game. This spoiler abomination, as this one is called, he is kind of an ever-present evil that is constantly just on the board wrecking things because he lays down mold wherever he goes. And that mold destroys rooms, destroys walls, and destroys objectives, which if he destroys the wrong objective, you would just immediately lose.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he is rough. So I'm really excited for it. I loved fantasy, but I'm really excited to go to space, and it seems like fans are really excited. So you can check out CMON.com, you can check out our Facebook page, but that's coming to Kickstarter on April 10th.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So is there anything else coming out from CMON that you want to talk about today before we have to say goodbye to you?
I mean, there's so much. The biggest one
You guys
is...
do have a lot of stuff going on.
At the end of this month, March 30th, Rising Sun will be available in retailers.
It will be a Good Friday.
Yes. So, some of our backers have already been getting it. If you're a retail pledge, some of your stores might have been getting your retail pledge copy in. But we're really excited for that. 3 expansions are coming out with it at the same time, so you'll have plenty of stuff. And then the month after that is Zombicide Green Horde. So that's what's to look forward. Then we got this. Then we got Dragon Castle. But yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff.
Fantastic. Well, Jared, thank you so much for coming on
welcome.
today.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate it. And thank all of you watching at home. Stay tuned for more coverage coming to you today from GAMA here in Reno, Nevada. But for now, signing off, I'm Matt. Thanks again, Jared.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.